I know that it's important to build rapport in an interview, but I feel like people don't always know what this actually looks like in practice. And these are the things that I try to do really in any conversation with a stranger, but especially in an interview, to leave that conversation feeling good, feeling like we had that like juicy heart to heart, good energy, old friends type of vibe. It all starts with your prep and how you feel going into the conversation. I swear that is going to make or break how it flows between you two. Put on a good outfit, do your hair, do your makeup, feel your best. There's this thing called the halo effect where somebody's first impression of you will actually influence their overall perception of you. So if you make that first impression a good one, like literally the visual first impression, that's going to impact their entire perception of you for that conversation. Energy going into that call is also super important. I always try and build a really positive and chatty and also focused energy. So I make sure I'm not doing something else at least 15 minutes before that call. I'll get up, I'll move around, I'll try and kind of get some adrenaline flowing, smile at yourself in the mirror, make big gestures, do the things that are proven to build that confidence and build that energy. I know you got to do research before an interview, but also make this about understanding your interviewer and trying to find similarities. These are kind of like nuggets you can drop in the conversation. So if there's something super obvious, like you guys are from the same hometown or you went to the same college, like that's something you can outright ask them about. If it's something less obvious, like you both, they're really into swimming and you did swim team in high school, those are things that you can like weave into the conversation so it comes up organically and then you have some similarity to connect over that doesn't make it feel like you're stalking them. And please excuse my Slack message. As part of this prep, I like to come to a conversation with like a story or two prepared, whether it was something fun I did over the weekend or a cool trip I've got upcoming, or maybe something new in my city that I'm really excited to try. The goal is to know kind of what you're going to say when somebody says, "How are you? How's it going?" Never just say fine. That's always the worst answer you can give. Similarly, I like to have prompt questions to ask in case somebody doesn't prompt me to share a little fun tidbit about myself. This could be things like, do you have any fun plans coming up for the weekend? Or, are you traveling anywhere this summer? What are your plans for the holidays? If you have any other ideas, drop them in the comments. I feel like we can crowdsource some amazing ones here that everybody can use. If you've done it all right, you're going to go into this call feeling like your most confident self. And I feel like a good conversation is one that feels like you're talking to an old friend. It's positive energy, you guys are flowing. It creates this like safe shared space. And there's this concept in improv that I think can really nicely apply to a networking or an interview conversation. It's called yes and. And the idea is that you want to stay in this state of agreement with the person you're talking to because it creates that positive exchange and that safe space. So instead of, even if you don't agree with what they're saying, you can frame your response as, yes, I hear you, I acknowledge you, and give an additional piece of information rather than saying, no, actually, here's what I think instead. Body language, also super important to create that good energy environment. Even over Zoom, like I know you don't get the full effect, but if you do your best to mirror how they're acting, if they're, being really physical and elaborate with their hands and making a lot of eye contact and smiling and nodding, like do those things too. And it's gonna make it feel very familiar for them. It'll create this sense that they already know you. Lastly, I always try to block 15 minutes after any call just in case the conversation's flowing and it runs over, because then you don't have to worry about like cutting it off and creating that tension point where it doesn't need to be.